Okay, so let's solve this problem. So show that the derivative of y equals ln square root of 1 plus sine x over 1 minus sine x is secant x. So from this given equation, now since we can rewrite this radical in exponential form, so if we have square root of x in exponential form, x to the power 1/2. So therefore, this given is the same as y equals ln y plus sine x over 1 minus sine x to the power 1/2. Then using the power property of logarithm, that's ln x to the power n is equal to n ln x. So therefore, we can rewrite this one as y equals, so this exponent becomes the numerical coefficient, then ln 1 plus sine x over 1 minus sine x. Then using the quotient property of logarithm, so ln m over n is equal to ln m minus ln n. So this is m and this is n. So y now equals 1/2 times ln 1 plus sine x, then minus ln 1 minus sine x. Then distribute this 1/2. So y equals 1/2 ln 1 plus sine x. Then we have this negative 1/2 ln 1 minus sine x. Then from this equation, so we can find now the derivative. So just derive every term. So for this term, u, that's 1 plus sine x, then du, since the derivative of 1 is 0, and the derivative of sine x is cosine x. Then for the second term, so u is 1 minus sine x, so du, so the derivative of negative sine x is negative cosine x. Then using this formula to solve for the derivative of a natural log, so y prime is equal to du over u. So for the first term, y prime, copy first this numerical coefficient, that's 1/2, times the derivative of ln 1 plus sine x. So using this formula, du is cosine x, u, that's 1 plus sine x. Then for the second term, so minus, bring down this 1/2 times the derivative of ln 1 minus sine x. So du, it's negative cosine, u, that's 1 minus sine x. Then since we can factor out this 1/2, so put 1/2 outside. So y prime equals 1/2 times cosine x over 1 plus sine x. Then we have this negative times negative, that's positive. Then cosine x over 1 minus sine x. Then simplify this equation by finding the LCD. So the LCD is just the product of the two denominators. Then simplify. So bring down this cosine x. So this LCD divided by 1 plus sine x. So cancel sine x. So we have now 1 minus sine x plus, bring down this cosine x. Then LCD divided by this denominator. So cancel 1 minus sine x. So we have now 1 plus sine x. Then simplify, so y prime equals 1/2. Now since we have this 1 plus sine x times 1 minus sine x, so if we have x plus y times x minus y, this one is equal to the square of the first term minus the square of the second term. So therefore, this 1 plus sine x times 1 minus sine x is equal to the square of 1, that's 1, minus the square of sine x, that's sine squared x. Then for the numerator, so distribute, that's cosine x, negative cosine x sine x, then plus cosine x, plus cosine x sine x. Then simplify this equation. So by combining like terms, so this negative cosine x sine x and positive cosine x sine x, this one is 0. Then cosine plus cosine, that's 2 cosine x. Then we have an identity for this equation. Now since sine squared x plus cosine squared x, that's equal to 1. So if we're going to transpose this sine squared x to the right, that becomes cosine squared x is equal to 1 minus sine squared x. So therefore, this sine squared x is equal to cosine squared x. Then simplify, so y prime, so cancel 2, then cancel cosine, we have cancel cosine. So for the numerator, that's 1, and for the denominator, it's cosine x. Then since we have this identity that cosine, this one is second, and 1, since 1 over cosine is equal to second, so therefore, this 1 over cosine x is equal to second x. So this is now the derivative.